You know, I was today 8 years old when I realized that some Star Wars fans don't understand how Star Wars canon works. The other day I talked about everybody's favorite Star Wars TV show, The Acolyte. And in the comment section for that video, I had a very respectful back and forth with somebody who just does not like how Disney's been handling Star Wars. However, when they stated that one of the reasons is because they believe Disney threw out all of George Lucas's canon, that's when I had to get to explaining. And again, our back and forth was very respectful, so I just shared with him how canon actually works, to which he stated that he wasn't aware of any of that. So this is going to be a teaching moment for those who don't know, and a calm down moment for those of you who are mad about it. The idea that Disney somehow retconned all of George Lucas's canon is fundamentally incorrect. The root of this misinformation is from 2014 when Disney created the Legends continuity, essentially taking everything that was in the EU and declaring it non-canon. For those who don't understand how canon works, it sounds like Disney took a disintegrator raid to your childhood. And for many people, it's been a rallying cry for why George Lucas needs to take control of the franchise again. However, what those people don't realize is that the call is coming from inside of the house. Because Disney only labeled something as Legends continuity if George Lucas himself didn't write it or have something to do with it, i.e. the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and the Clone Wars animated cartoon. So Disney essentially just said whatever George Lucas said is canon, and we're just gonna build off of that material. And the reason why I do not understand why people are upset, and the reason why I say that the call is coming from inside of the house, is because this is exactly how George Lucas handled it. For those who don't know, this is the old hierarchy of canon, with G canon or George Lucas canon sitting squarely on top of the pile. G canon overrode any other canon source. For example, T canon stands for television canon. At the time, this would have been the micro-series Clone Wars and the Clone Wars that we're all familiar with. However, only one of those series had George Lucas's direct involvement, so the Clone Wars 3D animation is G-canon automatically. This is why the 2D series is considered non-canon, because George Lucas just wanted to do something different. This was always how George Lucas operated with canon. The Mandalorians had vastly different lore, Grievous had a vastly different personality. Hell, Boba Fett's backstory was wildly different, and George Lucas decided, nope, he's a clone. All Disney did was take everything that was G-canon and just make it canon. So when people yell about Ki-Adi-Mundi's birthday being retconned, it was never a retcon, because Mundi's birthday did not stem from anything that George Lucas wrote. So much like Mandalorian culture or Boba Fett's backstory, it was up for grabs and free to play with. And for the especially toxic people who say that Disney retconned George Lucas's canon in order to prop up their strong female characters, I say again, the call is coming from inside the house. Because what you're describing isn't the sequel trilogy, and what you're describing isn't The Acolyte. You want a Star Wars show that ignored a whole bunch of EU material in order to prop up a strong female character? The call's coming from inside the house. Somebody better answer it. That's my take, and as always, I want to hear from you guys. What's your favorite Star Wars story, be it canon or non-canon? Leave it in the comments, let me know.